You meet someone, and within 10 minutes, something in you goes quiet and certain. You feel like you already know them, not their facts, their soul. As if you'd been introduced a long time ago, in a place you can't name. The conversation feels like remembering, and a voice underneath everything says calmly, "This one. Finally, this is the person. Now move forward in time." 6 months, a year, the same person sits across from you, and they have become a stranger. The qualities you adored have thinned into air. You catch yourself thinking the cruelest sentence in the human language. You've changed. You are not who I thought you were. And the strangest part is the suspicion that you've done this before. That if you laid your past loves side by side, they would rhyme. Different faces, different names, the same story, the same ending, the same ache. You did not have bad luck 5 times. You were never quite looking at them. Carl Jung spent his life on the figure standing between you and everyone you've ever wanted, and it is not out there in the world. It is inside you. And until you meet it, you will keep falling for the same person in 100 different bodies. Jung's answer begins with an uncomfortable claim. You do not fall in love with a person. You fall in love with an image you are throwing over them. Every man, Jung said, carries within him an eternal image of woman, not this or that particular woman, but a definite inner figure. He called it the anima, the unconscious feminine inside a man. And every woman carries the mirror of it, the animus, the unconscious masculine inside her. This inner figure is the source of your attractions. When you meet someone who fits its outline, the image leaps out of you and lands on them like a film projected onto a screen. Their face is real. The being you worship is yours. This is why love at first sight feels less like discovery and more like recognition. You feel you've known them for all time because, in a sense, you've carried the picture since before you could speak. The old word for it is exactly right, fascination. To be fascinated once meant to be bewitched, put under a spell. When a stranger fascinates you, you are not seeing them clearly. You are spellbound by your own depths wearing their clothes. So where does the image come from? Jung's answer is close to home, almost too close. The anima is, as a rule, first shaped by the mother. The animus, first shaped by the father. Your earliest experience of the opposite within you is built from the parent who carried it, which means the type you keep helplessly choosing is not random. It is the shape of your oldest unfinished business walking back into the room in a new outfit. You think you are choosing a future. Quietly, you are recasting a role that was open before you had words for it. And here is the mechanism almost nobody explains. A projection has a shelf life. The image can only stay fastened to a real person for as long as that person can carry it. They are flesh. The image is a god. Sooner or later they do something ordinary. They get tired. They get scared. They want something you didn't write into the script, and that single real act contradicts the picture. The image tears loose and snaps back into you, and the instant it does, the spell breaks. The glow dies. They look smaller. You feel cheated, and you reach for that cruel sentence. You've changed, but they didn't change. You simply ran out of screen. You didn't fall out of love. The fantasy ran out of room. What you call disappointment is just the projection coming home. Now, the figure does not only choose your lovers, it moves into you, and it has a tell, and the tell is different for men and women in a way Jung found almost mathematical. It is common, he wrote, for men to have irrational moods and women irrational opinions. When the anima possesses a man, it does not arrive as a thought. It arrives as a fog, a grey, sulking, touchy mood with no cause he can name. A flat voice underneath saying nothing means anything. I enjoy nothing. For me, it's different. When the animus possesses a woman, it does not come as a mood. It comes as a conviction, rigid, sacred, unarguable, and always speaking in absolutes. You always, you never. There are only two possibilities here, and both are bad. The thing you should listen for in yourself is not the content, it is the absolute. Whenever you find yourself certain beyond argument, or sunk in a mood you can't explain, someone else is driving. And the figure has a dark law: the harder you deny it, the more primitive it gets. A man who builds his whole identity on being strong, rational, untouchable, who pushes every soft thing underground, does not erase his anima. He starves it into its crudest form, and it returns as the obsession, the femme fatale, the one woman who can level him with a glance. The hardest men are the most helpless in front of the image. Jung put it in one quietly terrifying line: if you are unconscious of your anima, it will marry your shadow. The inner figure fuses with everything you've refused to look at in yourself, so the person you're reaching for in the dark is secretly assembled from your own basement. You think you're chasing an angel. You're chasing the parts of you that you exiled. There is a cost, even when no lover is involved. Jung called the anima the archetype of life itself, and when it turns negative, it does not kill you, it does something quieter. It makes you dream your life instead of living it. You sink into a strange passivity. You wake tired. You reflect on living so endlessly that you never actually live, always rehearsing a fuller life that begins next month. After this, once things settle. Von Franz described it without mercy. It is as if a vampire were sucking your blood. That chronic, low blue listlessness is not always depression in the clinical sense, and it is not laziness. Sometimes it is possession by an inner figure you have never turned around to face. So how do you face it? Not by ripping it out, you can't, and you wouldn't want to. Consider what happens when someone does turn toward the figure instead of away. A century ago, a Scottish writer named William Sharp produced the deepest work of his life under a secret name, Fiona MacLeod, a woman he never explained. He wrote letters to Fiona, and Fiona wrote back in a voice that was not his ordinary voice. The poet Yeats praised her work and disliked his. Sharp had stopped projecting his anima onto real women to consume and started letting her speak through him to create. When a man is full of life, the old word says, he is animated, given soul. The figure was never meant to be hunted in the world. It was meant to be met within, which brings us to the turn most people never make. The goal is not to finally find the one who fits the image. There is No such person. The image is a god and they are human, and you would burn through them like all the others. And the goal is not to stop projecting, you can't switch it off. The goal is to recognize the stranger you keep falling for. To notice that every time love curdles into disappointment, the picture has come home carrying a message about a quality, a strength, a tenderness that is missing in you and waiting to be lived. Jung called meeting your shadow the apprentice piece. He called meeting this inner figure the masterpiece, the work that almost nobody completes. Most people die having never once met it. They simply throw the same image again and again onto face after face, calling it love and calling it heartbreak, never once suspecting it was always the same figure, always their own. Real love does not begin in the spell. It begins on the far side of it the morning the projection finally falls away, and for the first time you are not staring at your own reflection in someone's face. You are looking at a person, a real one, different from your dream, and for the first time actually there.